Good evening, everyone. This is Brother Amir, Brother Phil with Wake Up Everybody. We have a guest speaker, good, genuine king that we needed to have in our presence, Brother Neal. He's here in the Atlanta metro area, originally from Louisiana. Brother Neal, you know, we've been discussing a lot of different things from time to time, things that affect us directly or indirectly, and we always have conversations about our health, about our families, about protection, about our past, about where our future is, for our friends, our families, and loved ones. Some of the things that you want to discuss tonight.
Man, first and foremost, I want to thank the creator, um, Breonna Taylor, my daughter-in-law, for bringing in my grandbaby, LaFay Marie Taylor. We got a new addition to the family, and I'm excited about it, and it's part of the motivation for what I want to speak about today, man.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations,
Congratulations,
man.
brother.
Thank you, my brother.
Remember, man.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. We continue.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? We like they said, we don't die, we multiply.
There you go.
you know.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's been on my heart for a couple of weeks now, man, because I got this information before the election, and it was pertaining to a threat to melanated people from non-melanated people, who felt the need to want to come to Georgia and bring harm to my brothers and my sisters, and specifically my sisters. They felt as though, the melanated sister was an easy target, and so I just wanted to kind of do a public service announcement, to let us know, man, be vigilant, keep your head on the swivel, pay attention. When you're
Absolutely.
out and about, doing your thing, it's not laissez-faire anymore. These people have pretty much drawn down the gauntlet. This the way they feel. This is their country. And then last time I checked, it wasn't. But, that's the way they feel. And they've been emboldened by the election of Mr. Trump. And so, you're going to hear things that you hadn't heard in a long time. Just in the last week, I've heard of two, three occasions where, these non-melanated people feel a need to define, the melanated people as niggas. And they up front with it, calling it out in the supermarket, in the restaurants. Now don't get me wrong, they got dealt with accordingly. And that's how it's supposed to go. But the one that hurt me the most was her in elementary school, one of the babies, being called a nigger by the other little clear people. They're young, and so we know that this thing is not by chance, it's by design. They teach this racism and all other isms that they use to try and keep us down. But the one thing I wanted to know is that white supremacy is an oxymoron. They don't go together. I said because I used to be a superior athlete, and it was in basketball, and it didn't matter. You can take a bicycle tire and put that on a post under the spotlight, and we can get it in. I don't need nothing special, but those who do, they got to slant, they got to cheat. You know what I mean? So that tells you right there they're not superior. You know what I mean? Because the superior man wants you to know he's the superior man. By no stretch of the imagination. You know what I mean? So for my babies, don't take that way because they got to put you down because they know who you are. They believe that they're superior, but they know they're not.
Absolutely.
And so therefore, they have to put you down in order for them to feel up. You know what I mean? My super superb supreme ain't got nothing to do with you. I didn't have to put you down for me to feel this way about myself or about my people. I know who we are, and I know who we be. So man, I just wanted to, come in and put that on the table, for my sisters, man. When you're out here traveling, pay attention to where you park. Pay attention to what's parked next to you when you come out of whatever store you've been in. If it's a van or something like that, go find a brother to walk you to your car.
That's right.
Let him know how you feel. You're insecure or you're not sure about what's going on. Have him walk you to your car, make sure you're good. You know, Don't park next to no vans. Really be paying attention of what's going on around you because, the Chinese say, man, we live in interesting times. There's about to be some interesting times,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want you to be the storyline of any of those interesting times, So pay attention, and I'm gonna say this, sisters, get your little pocket knife or something that you can keep with you. That in the event that you need to, protect yourself, fight somebody off, to live, to get home to your family, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something simple you can carry with you. Find out in the state of law what the inch of the blade will be that it's not a conflict. I said, and hold that thing in your hand like this, with the point on this end, and
Mm-hmm.
go to work
That's right.
so you can get home. All
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's right.
That's all I got, baby.
Okay, okay. We always appreciate, your presence and your knowledge, brother. We just want to continue to spread, information to the general public, especially like you said, the melanated people, because sometimes we can come complacent very quickly, and a lot of times, within our community, we always think if it's one of the opposite, a man approaching a woman, they always think that it may be okay. He's trying to get something from me, but it may be for the best of your protection and just making sure that you're able to get back to your family in one piece, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what I would like to say on that for the young men out here, the melanated brothers, we need to get back to a point in our communities where we do protect our sisters, our cousins, our moms, our grandmoms. The three gentlemen here that are sitting here, we come from a different time. I know when I grew up as a young man, all of my elders, right? Ma'am, miss, thank you. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And if the elders were around, women didn't have to be your actual blood relatives. We have respect for them. I don't see young men holding doors for women anymore. The younger generation today.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a young fella, I used to go to the grocery store, carry people's groceries, specifically the women, for, pocket change, but to do it also to show that I'm a gentleman. And even in this era, it seems like that's something that's missing.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what Brother Neal said about keeping your head on a swivel, we need to just get back to caring about our own.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know that no one wants to see, it doesn't have to be your daughter or your mom or your sister. I know I don't want to see anybody's female relatives hurt by anyone in no way, shape, or form, whether it be, some racial discord or not. So I'm here to protect my own.
That's
But we
right.
Yeah.
have to get back to that. We have to get back to the basics of caring for our own. And
Yes.
then when it becomes natural to you, because it's still in me. If I'm at
Mm-hmm.
a,
Mm-hmm.
I might hold the door. It may sound crazy to some people out there. It may be 50 women coming. I'm standing at that door just letting them through.
Like the doorman.
Yeah, and then a few of the women will say, "Wow, I didn't know that gentlemen still
Right,
exist." And then
right,
my
right.
reply is always, "My mom raised me to be a gentleman."
That's
That's
right.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
But
right.
just the protection aspect that we're referencing, if it's built into you, it will come naturally,
True.
right? About being prepared. If not, these will go over your head, and then we're in protest or at arms with these people based on us not being diligent
That's right.
in what we're supposed to do. So we
Absolutely.
need to get back to the basics here. Start caring for one another,
Yeah.
respecting and honoring the women that gave birth to us. If you are, no matter what age you are, you come from the womb of a woman.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yes,
And
sir.
my mom's been gone for 30 something years, but she's still with me spiritually, and
That's
she
right.
will be until I leave this planet.
Speak on it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. Man, I'm going to chime off of what you just said because there's another aspect of this too that I think we need to address. And it's our children, man.
Mm.
Our children are coming up missing. You know, I'm seeing on Facebook, this child's missing and this child is missing. I mean, you know, that's not something that is common, within our community. But now that it's happening, then if you're sending the children, 'cause I know, how we live, baby, go to the store and get me a pack of cigarettes. So, go to the store and get me a soda. Now that's fine, but two, three of them need to go together.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that they all make, because you ain't gonna catch all three out you. I can tell you that right now. If you try something with them, you ain't gonna get all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he gonna come back or she gonna come back with it. But they need to start moving in groups.
True.
You know, to make sure that they're secure. You know what I mean? Because we're not paying attention to them the way that we should either. You know, going back to what Brother Phil said, it's important that these are the things that we grew up with. You know, we traveled, the neighborhood and the community raised us. You know, and I know, you know, you don't want nobody else talking to your kids, telling your kids what to do. But we grew up fine based upon that community, that village that raised us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dr. John Henry Clark, he said this, and I think we've said this before, Brother Phil, in one of our other casts, is that he said that we befriended everyone across the globe with open arms, but we've got nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And he said this, and two melanated people realize that we have nobody but ourselves as friends,
Yeah.
right? Then there will be no respect, no honor, no regard for human life of a melanated person.
Yeah.
He said this back in the 70s, right? And it's still relevant today. From your introduction, Brother Neal, it just goes perfect,
Yeah.
right? With we got to befriend each other. We got to protect each other.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's from afar or if it's our neighbors. You know, we like you said, we used to know everybody in the neighborhood. Whether we was cool or not cool, we still knew everybody in the neighborhood.
Yep.
You know, so I think some of the fundamentals, you know, has already been laid. We need to just, you know, dust that off because, you know, a new saying, when you ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Bro. Yes, sir. You know what, Brother Amir, and it's man, it's so important that we, you know, like with a lot of the things that are happening now, they call it new age, but really, it's old that's
Right,
being
right.
brought back to the forefront again.
True.
It ain't nothing new.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just something that we had before. We didn't polish it up and maybe, you know, present it a little different, but it's the same old, same old.
Right.
And it's the same thing. The only way we're going to get to where we need to be is we go back to the things that we know work.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, and it worked because we here.
Right.
You know, and we three successful black men, you know, sitting here having a conversation, you know, and, you know, we made it. You know, and we continue to make it. You know, and it's based off of those things that we were taught as kids. We cultivated and polished and made it into something when we became young adults, and now as old men, we're trying to do the responsible part, which is to give it back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Give it back.
And right
You
there,
know?
brother, that giving back, right? All of us, if you were raised accordingly, you know, and Brother Amir just quoted Dr. John Henry Clark. There's some of our ancestors, you know, you hear people throw the word around ancestor all day long, but there's people that laid the foundation for us to be the men that we are today. And if you think about it, I'm not sure if you brothers have recently. I have, right? You know, Malcolm X, Dr. King, Medgar Evers, Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington. What's You got all these guys from the past. If you come, say 19, I'm gonna say 80 forward, can you all name me some gentlemen that fit the mold of those brothers from the past?
Oh no.
That are like the leaders that are leaving legacies behind that have moved the consciousness of, you know, our people right now. And this is something Brother Malcolm said back in his day. They had celebrities that they put out there as the leaders of people. And this is no disrespect to anybody out there that's a celebrity and you earn your living entertaining, so on and so forth. But we had leaders that had nothing to do with entertainment, nothing to do with sports, right? That was in their fun time. This era now, we're being led by entertainers and celebrities specifically, right? And the sad part about it is that to know someone who's wealthy beyond measure, and you know you can spend money any way you want. It's yours, you earned it. There's nothing against that. But what are these people doing to uplift the community as a whole, other than constantly um, pushing a product that they want you to buy to make them richer,
A clinic,
right?
a playground. Okay. At the end of the day, for me in that statement is that I've been fortunate that I've refed, because I used to referee and umpire, but I've refed quite a few brothers that have made it successfully in the
Right.
NBA
Right.
out of the Atlanta Metro. And none of them outside of one brother, I'm gonna keep their names, to us. But none of them outside of one brother has ever done anything really of a significant change in the Atlanta metro area.
Right.
Because I know when referee these young brothers, when they were small kids, like we always know, with you being an athlete, brother, okay, when they see someone that has a certain kind of gift, they pretty much isolate you. And when they isolate you, they normally come at you in waves in which you may have not been accustomed to. Come and stay with my son. I'm going to show you something that you never had. I'm going to take you places that you never gone. Now you see things that you can only, dream of having. And then that one day, okay, you make it to college, and then you're a superior athlete in college, and that same playground, that same game plan is now magnitude at a larger scale. It moves you more away from your culture, your family, your blackness, and now you're a yes man, and you're saying yes to all the things that had nothing to do with your foundation. Now you made it, and now you got all the resources you could ever have. And again, we're doing things that don't equate to any major change in your own small community, let alone the community at large, because now you have all these other groups of people have pulled on you, have given you, have shown you things away from your community. So you have no idea what community looks like any longer.
No, I mean, that's so profound. But you see them do it all the time, and it's just like, the lion chasing the gazelle. That one, and it's the one that's limping. We're not talking about the ones that limping, but they isolate and they get it off to itself. That one that done wandered from the pack,
Right.
And this is what they do in our community with our champions, and it's not just in athletics.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
it's in every aspect where we excel. If you are a great mind, they will come and get that mind
Yeah.
and separate it from the community and tell that person you're different, you're special.
You speak well.
Exactly. That man, I heard that so much. It's ridiculous. But and so we get separated, and a lot of times we forget about where we come from because there's no resistance where we are. We come up in resistance. Whether it's, fighting on the block, or, trying to make it home some days, after school, you got to run from the door. We got, we grow up in a different environment, but once again, that's what made us. And they separate us from that, and we go into this world where things are easy, but it's not just easy for everybody else, and it's only easy for you because you provide a particular talent or skill that makes them money as well as you. But trust me, they're making most of it.
That's right.
And somehow you get amnesia about what it was that made you who you are. What developed you into being this, the thing that's in you that drove you to be the best at anything. That didn't happen in this community. It happened in the community that provided that resistance for you, that you had to break through to be great. Like I say all the time, man, the greatest things in life, gold, diamonds, are buried deep within the dirt. You got to go dig that out.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just don't come up out of it. You got to go dig
You
that
got to
out.
go get it.
It's the same thing with us. We dug this out and made this into what it is. You know what I mean? And we've got to go back, like you said earlier. We've got to go back and reinforce the habits that we know will help us achieve, what we're looking for. I learned this in corporate America, man, and it's a real simple paradigm that I've used forever. Thinking drives behavior, and behavior drives results. Simple. Look at the results, back out of it into the behaviors, and then back out of the behaviors to the thinking. If you want to change, you gotta change your mind.
That's right.
Gotta change your mind. You can change the results because the mind is going to change the behaviors. How bad do you want to win? How bad do you want to see this community grow, man. I'm telling you, one of my greatest pains is I'm an artist by gift. God gave me that gift. And so when I read, I paint those pictures in my mind. And I'm a historian. I love ancient Egypt and Kush and Timbuktu and all of it. You know, the Moors, you name it, I can run the history to you. And whenever I read it, I paint those pictures and I've seen us in our magnificence. And so it bothers me when I open my eyes and I look around and I see these dull, monotone, people. And I'm like, who are y'all? No, no, you're so much more than that, you know?
Brother Neal, you know what I call them? I call them mannequins.
That's a good
I
one.
call them mannequins, man, because they just duplicate what somebody else is doing. They don't want to use the tool in between their two ears, right? Because you blessed to have that,
Yeah.
where it's so easy for you to think for yourself versus to duplicate something that you could never be. And I just see us being a lot of us are mannequins.
Yeah, that's a
You
good
know?
one. I like that one. I'm about
Yeah.
to use that one, brother. I'm about to use that,
But
brother,
y'all
man.
know the thing that's missing though, man.
Talk to me.
All of us probably come from, a particular neighborhood where whether it was the fathers, what I'm saying, or some neighborhood community leader, depending on what city you were in, that may have influenced you and then steered you towards the John Henry Clark's, the Malcolm X, and so on. We're missing those people today.
Yeah.
Right. So even as a dad, I know that I'm heavily involved with my sons. They're three grown men now. But I came up in a single parent household with my mom's. But my mom was just a very strong woman. So even though pops wasn't there, mom was just, she didn't play.
They had to be.
Yeah, and then there were, like I said, men in the community. I went to the Boys and Girls Club most of my life. And the gentlemen that were in college at the time, they would work, part-time on staff. Then you had, of course, the full-time staff members, but quite a few men. The young men today, like I said, outside of these entertainers, as I stated earlier, they don't have real role models. When's the last time y'all heard maybe say a young man speak of the Honorable Marcus Garvey? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, what that brother was doing, to your point, brother Amir and brother Neal, he was trying to uplift the whole diaspora of our people.
Yeah.
We talking about global. It wasn't just
Yeah.
America. Remember,
Yeah.
he came from Jamaica.
Yeah.
Why hasn't that man's story been told yet?
Yeah.
Right? So my opinion is the fear is if you turn young people onto Garvey and his thought process, you're going to see a change. But if they keep giving us, no disrespect to the athletes, like I said, we're, all former athletes and love the games, but we're also intelligent enough, clear thinking, independent thinkers that we don't keep that as our gauge for manhood. These other young men don't have that ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you spoke of the athlete that that is doing something, without mentioning that young man's name, but he's doing some powerful things. But how many of him are out there amongst this elite class of athletes, right? That we need men. And of course, us, it doesn't have to be a celebrity, but we need manhood training for our young men.
Right.
And it's going to come from men like us.
Well, that's the thing, man. I was talking about this with my little cousin a couple of days ago. Is the fact that, we had rites of passage, on the continent and here, and we've thrown these things away because we look at them as antiquated, or they're not apropos with the Europeans' way of doing things. You know what I mean? We stop being who we are. To be more like the mannequins.
Yeah.
That you speak of. You know what I mean? And so it is, incumbent upon us to really get back to being who we are. Because you can master that.
Absolutely.
I can never master being the European, and nor do I want to. But I'm so excited about being me. It ain't even funny.
Absolutely.
But we've got to do those things, man. And it's unfortunate that we've grown up to the point where, and I remember when they started that everything is material. See, we equate success with material and money. You know, and our self-esteem is predicated on both of those. You know, when we grew up, man, look, I was the shit when I came out mama womb.
There you go.
You know, and what made me feel good was the relationships that I had with my family and my friends, you know, and what they thought about me, you know, and how they treated me because of, you know, how I treated them and how, you know, I held my head up, you know, and that's what, you know, respect and, you know, what we felt good about. And now, if you don't have things,
Yeah.
if you don't have money, you know, you're nobody. So that's why they're able to put these, you know, athletes and entertainers out in front of us because they know the masses of us look at that as success.
Right, right.
You know, but have, you know, no opinion of any sort about, you know, morality, intellect, you know, society at a whole on a whole. You know, so, you know, our bar has been lowered
Oh yeah.
and we've got to, you know, raise that bar, man. I have a little lesson I teach, and I used to ask the question when I went to Catholic schools. Don't hold it against me. Um, and I used to ask the priest, you know, I asked the question one day. So why did they kill Christ? And he said, well, you know, it's take away the sins and grant rest. I said, nah, that was God's plan. Why did the people? They chose Barabbas. Why did they choose him over Christ? And he looked at me and was like, I never thought about it like that, Neal. I said, well, I have. I said, let me tell you what I think. I said, my understanding is that this particular individual was a ruler, right? I said, and you know, when a ruler comes around, I said, because the ruler, the word itself indicates a standard of measure. And when a ruler comes around, who's ever around the ruler got to measure themselves by
Right.
and find out where you measure at. And most of the time, we come up short. And it's only those who have the gumption to measure up. But those who don't will tear it down. Henceforth the cross. He's supposed to be the standard, but we don't want that around here. Because he reminds us of that which we lack. And that's why our standards have been lowered. So that we don't have to remind each other of what we lack. But brothers, we here to let them know the standard is back.
That's right. Good.
He ain't going nowhere.
We ain't selling ourselves to the souls to the lowest bidder no more.
Nah.
Because we've been doing that too long.
Nah.
Right?
Nah, I ain't
We've
built
been-
like that.
Yeah, we've been selling our souls to the lowest bidder forever, as long as we've been living in past our age. It's time to wake up the kings and queens that are inside of all of us, you know, and walk proudly, act proudly, be proudly, which everyone would love to have a part of who we are and what we represent.
Yes. Yes. I can't think of the comedian's name, man, but he had made a point. He said he was in China. And then he said he was going to deal with a warlord or a drug lord or something to that effect, right? And the man was saying, he said, we love you people. He said, everybody wants to be you. He said, but for whatever reason, you guys just can't come together. You just can't, you know, put it together. He said, you can't even organize crime. I was like, God damn. You can't organize crime? Ooh. Well,
Yeah.
man, I appreciate you, brothers, man,
Yeah.
having me on.
Absolutely.
To share and to partake in what you guys are doing here, man. I'm a fan. And it's always beautiful. Whenever we come together, what do they say? When two or more gathered? Okay.
There you go.
I'll leave it
All right.
there.
Until next time, Brother Neal, thanks for coming out. This is Brother Phil, Brother Amir, and wake up everybody. Peace.
Till the next time. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Yeah.